Okay, so after listing my 2015 Volkswagen Passat here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I've had 2 bookings on the Turo platform as a host, yet I've already learned quite a bit about hosting my vehicle on Turo. And in this video, I'm going to give you the 5 biggest standouts that I've learned. Number 1, we're jumping right into it. Communication is so important everywhere. So on my first customer booking, right, I have the entire listing of my vehicle, some of the features, the instructions, there's guest instructions for check-in and check-outs, and I didn't have enough there, and I just didn't communicate enough with the customer and really just understanding the best practices. So what I mean by this is actually communicating and writing out the entire check-in and checkout process at a minimum. So what I did here, let me show you what I did here, is I broke down an in-person checkout or a contactless checkout. I have instructions for an in-person check-in that will also have a contactless option in the future. And there's kind of a fine line with how much do I say, how much do I write, how much do I tell them, like all the stuff I tell them to do, check in, check out, quirks of the vehicle and all of that, and then sending them a welcome text, which you should do, by the way, if you didn't know that, sending them a welcome text. Hey, this is Mike. Hey, this is your Turo host. Thank you for renting my insert your vehicle here on the Turo platform. For check-in, boom, and then just copy and paste from the guest instructions. They have it, but send it anyway. So on that first customer, I didn't have a process in place for a contactless drop off. I just didn't. I kind of mentally thought, all right, here's how it should go, because I've done contactless stuff on most every other niche in the gig economy, but you have to write things down and you have to communicate these processes, or again, answering common questions. There's frequently asked questions you can put. You got to list these things as a Turo host. Number 2, on the money-making side, and this should come with research. You should be researching, I would say, more than most gigs, most niches that I can think of. With Turo, you should be doing really your research before you list your vehicle. So this one is, you should be using extras. So extras, as the name literally implies, are extras on in the customer's booking. And if you didn't know, this actually goes in front of the customer first when they're making their booking. So Turo is kind of encouraging this. And again, it's front and center for your customer. So if you don't have extras, you could be missing out on money. So take a look here at some of my extras. Now, the only thing that I don't love with extras is that they're predetermined, really, or I guess templates. I would like to have some extras I can put in manually, but I understand there could be a window for abuse there from hosts. So I see that, I get the template extras, but take a look here, unlimited mileage. So if you have a client, I just had a client that went over on miles, but you can have an extra charge so the customer doesn't have to worry about going over on miles. I got a beach towel on here, a cooler, which is ideal, tailgates, all of that, hangouts, parties. Prepaid fuel. This allows the customer to return the vehicle at any fuel level. Very helpful. And a pet fee as well if the client wants to bring their furry friend. So tip number 3 that I really didn't realize until after that first client is accessories that will help both you and the customer. So for me, I got things like a no smoking sticker to put in the vehicle just as a reminder. For both the client experience and myself, I have the Faraday bag to properly secure the key and prevent unlocks when the key is outside of the vehicle upon drop off, a magnetic drop off box for my key, and eventual vehicle tracker as well. All right, number 4 is probably going to be tough for some people, but I'm being honest. This is a takeaway that I learned, and this is after doing most every app and niche in the gig economy since 2015. And having said that, I have a lot to compare it to. And this takeaway is, in my opinion, Turo has one of the lowest dollars to mile payouts. This is a fundamental here on the channel that we talk about using your vehicle for gig work in a side hustle. It's how much am I getting paid for the miles driven, that dollars to mile ratio. And I'll tell you, after just two customers, I mean, I can already tell that dollars to mile ratio is so low compared to food delivery, which can be very good. Even grocery, even package delivery, I mean, everything, basically, even rideshare, in my opinion. That customer that went over on miles, they drove 758 miles over a 3-day weekend trip. Now, I did charge for the extra miles as well as my standard day rate for my Passat, and I had a take-home pay of $206 for 758 miles being freshly added on my vehicle. It literally costs more, according to the IRS, to operate the vehicle itself than the payout per mile that I receive. Now, I know what you're going to say. It depends on a lot of things, and it does. What type of vehicle is it? Is it paid off? Is it a luxury vehicle? Are you an all-star host? How much are you charging? Are there discounts? And the protection coverage that you choose. Let me show you that. So you can adjust the liability coverage as a host. You can have a 60% take, a 75% take with more protections, a lower deductible. You can be riskier with an 80% take, but a higher deductible, an 85% and a 90% take if you don't mind maxing out your potential deductible. All right, number 5, a little bit of the positive on the business side here. I do see Turo as a potential good semi-passive cash flow stream. And I say cash flow intentionally versus like net revenue because all those expenses and the miles, but at least on a semi-passive basis. I mean, I clean the car once, you sanitize it, all that, and then off it goes. Really making money on that semi-passive channel. I'm not really doing anything. But the risk versus reward, I feel like that's the innate risk with Turo. It's the risk of the liability coverages. If you're going riskier with like an 80% take, but lower coverage, 90%. And then that innate risk of my vehicle's out there with a stranger. And yes, I know you can track it. You can have analytics. And yes, there's insurance coverage with a Turo if something does happen to your vehicle, but that's a pain. And I understand there's ways to get that money back. But going through all that trouble to make maybe at least what you've seen with me as a test subject here, I still feel like there's better options. But I'll tell you what, as a new Turo host, and since it is my job to help you make money in different side hustles, that vehicle will stay listed. And we'll see how maybe customer 3, 4, etc. do, and to see if we can streamline and maximize the profits on Turo. A little nervous. But if you got value in this video, you shouldn't be nervous in dropping a like on this video. It shows me that you like it and does help out the channel. I do appreciate it. You can also click or tap the screen here for my newest video, as well as a video recommended for you. And I'll see you in the next one.